Hey there, Sean and Allison here from Spoken Garden.
Hi everybody.
Hey, today we're planting more seeds, but we're gonna plant some different seeds today.
I know, this is gonna be really fun and we can't wait to show you guys which seeds we're sowing that need what's called cold stratification. We're gonna tell you all about what that is and show you how to do it.
Yeah, so here we are, we're gonna plant these seeds, and like Allison was saying, we need to give these seeds a cold treatment, or what's called cold stratification. What it is it's just a cold treatment for a specific amount of time, and what happens is it actually triggers the seeds to then grow, to then germinate, but they need that cold treatment, otherwise they're not gonna do that. This is because they've actually evolved to have this type of trigger to get them to germinate. So we're gonna sow 3 different kinds of seeds today, and the first one we're gonna sow is Verbena bonariensis. And so this is really beautiful. It's Verbena Vanity, and this is a 2022 AAS winner. So we're really excited to actually sow these and get these growing. So cool. Now next up is Echinacea White Swan. And who doesn't like more coneflowers? I know Allison loves coneflowers. Yep, we're getting the thumbs up. Woo-hoo. So we're gonna sow these today, and these do need a cold stratification, a cold treatment. Now, third is English lavender, and this is what's called tall vera or tall or vera. It says kind of either or on here in the package, so I'm just going off what's on the package, but it's an English lavender, and lavender is known to need a cold stratification period. So we're gonna sow all these today, and as we sow these, we're gonna go over the specifics for each one of these seeds and what they need.
So the plants we're gonna sow today that we showed you earlier, they all evolved over time from wildflowers that actually needed cold stratification in order to flower every year. So we're gonna mimic that by using a refrigerator. And this is the easiest method to get these seeds to germinate and grow strong so that we can actually transplant them out in our own garden. So lavender, coneflowers, verbena, think wildflowers like we were saying, like black-eyed Susans, different flowers that you would naturally find in the wild. Again, we're gonna mimic that. So there's a couple different ways you can do it, and what we're gonna use is these little 6-cell seed trays that we always use. We've been reusing these for years. But one way you can do that is just fill up with whatever type of soil or soilless medium you're gonna use, put it in the refrigerator, usually for around 4 to 6 weeks. So it does kind of add a little time to to your process. Another way you can do it is take your seeds, especially if they're smaller seeds, and just place them in a damp paper towel and put it in like maybe a plastic bag and put that in the refrigerator. A third method, you're gonna take this little 6-cell tray, put it in like a plastic, like Ziploc type bag, but make sure there's airflow. So you can take, punch a couple holes in the plastic, or just leave leave the end open. Put that whole plastic bag in the refrigerator. So Sean and I don't think the plastic bag step is necessary. We're just gonna take our seed trays and put them right in the refrigerator. Check them every couple of days and make sure that the top layer of soil is moist throughout this whole cold treatment.
Now, saying all that, our experiment is going to be to plant these 3 seeds in 2 different types of soil. We wanted to do 3, but we couldn't find the vermiculite. We've got seed starting soil here, and we're gonna do 6 seeds of each seed, or each plant, in the seed starting soil. And then we're gonna compare that to planting each one of these seeds in just a regular garden soil. It's a potting soil, it's a container soil, but it has a lot less perlite in it, and it's got a lot more organic matter. So we're gonna actually test out how well these seeds grow and actually germinate in either of these. And then we'll report back to you. So we've got the tags, we've got the pony packs, the trays. There's also a Corona tool here just to scoop all the material, all the soil, and get it into those pony packs. We've also got our mister here, and this is a Crescent Garden mister. It's really great. And also we have our Diby XLs, and the links for that for our shop is actually down below the video here. And then also we'll have the links for these seeds. So the Verbena bonariensis and the English lavender, and then the White Swan echinacea. The very first thing that you wanna do is you wanna moisten the soil or the medium that you're actually gonna place these seeds in. Otherwise, it's gonna be really hard to get all of that moisture around that seed and to get that good coverage of that water or that moisture around that seed. So first off, we're gonna start over here, verbena. Right here, we're gonna go verbena, and we've got our potting soil, we got our seed starting soil here, and then we've got our garden potting soil right here. And they're all laid out in the same orientation. So I'm gonna get this out of here. This is kind of fun. So it came out of a packet, and then we've got another packet with another packet.
It's very, very well wrapped.
So first off, we're going to take our Dibi XL. We're going to use the dibber end, and we're going to go to that second ring, which is a 1/4 inch. We're going to use that for our depth on all of these. Now these seeds are tiny, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the widger end of the Dibi XL, and I'm going to try and grab a couple of these seeds out of here, and this makes it a little bit easier. So then I can just maybe do that.
Wow, those are small.
Yeah, there's one. Oop, oh, all of those went in there. Well, we'll see if we'll add multiples. You see those in there?
Oh wow, yeah, those are tiny.
Yeah, I can see where it'd be hard to get your fingers around just one of them, let alone a couple of them. So that's all of verbena right there. So I got them in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I think I'll take this end again, and I'm just going to throw some soil over the top of them. Get them buried here.
Which one's the potting soil?
This is the potting soil, and this is the seed starting soil.
Okay.
So yeah, it's going to be really fun to see the experiment. You know, the thing with this experiment too, guys, is that when you're starting seeds, you want to put the seeds in a soil that it's actually going to stay around. You want that soil to be wet, and because you want that wetness to stay around the soil, because you're trying to get that seed coat of that seed to soften up enough as part of its germination process for the seed to actually pop out of the seed coat and start its whole life cycle. And so when you have, like, say, sand or kind of a really coarse type of soil, you can put all the water you want into it, but it's just going to flow out, and you have less of a chance of germination with that type of coarser soil because the moisture isn't being tightly held up against most or a good portion of that seed coat, and that's what you're really going for. And that's why we have these two different ones. That's why we're going to experiment with this, but also you want to have a finer type of soil to kind of a finer ground soil to keep that moisture up close and tight to that seed. So next up is the echinacea, the White Swan coneflower. Now, this is fun too because this coneflower can also be sown at about 1/4 inch depth into the soil. So we're gonna get into that. I'm just gonna rock and roll on this, and we're gonna move through this because next up is the lavender. That's a little bit different. So lastly is lavender. We've got our English lavender, and so this seed is actually a little different than the other two in that it needs to be actually just either placed right on the surface of the soil or down just about 1/8 of an inch. So we're gonna go down just 1/8 of an inch to get this seed sown. So our second to last step before we place these in the refrigerator is to actually start watering them in right away to make sure that moisture is right around that seed coat as best we can. So we've got our mister so we don't dislodge the seeds right after we actually just planted them. So this works really well too to use a mister instead of just a watering wand. If you place seeds right on the surface of the soil, this way it'll gently get that mist and that water right down on the seed, and you won't push them off the soil or just out of the seed trays. So. Now I wanted to talk to you about the timing of sowing these seeds. All three of these seeds, they need to be sown anywhere from about 8 to 12 weeks prior to the last frost date in our area or in your area, wherever these are being planted. So for us, that is March 21st. Well, we're within that 8 to 12 week window prior to our last frost date to plant these. So when we plant these today, we're going to start that window, that growing period prior to our last frost date. And the cold stratification is actually part of that 8 to 12 weeks before our last frost date too. So it's important to understand that and where that fits into this whole process of sowing these. All right. The final step to start our stratification process for these seeds that we just planted is to place them in this refrigerator, and we'll keep them in here for 4 to 6 weeks. And we're just out here in our garage. This is our refrigerator. Just gonna take them and just set them in here. And so just gonna set the verbena here. There we go. So the clock starts now. And we'll see in 4 to 6 weeks how we're doing.
Okay, you guys, that is a wrap. Thank you for sowing all of those.
Yeah,
And
that's fun.
a couple key takeaways for you if you're still learning kind of new to the process of cold stratification. One is just the fact that some seeds do need a cold stratification. And another takeaway is to factor that part into your overall seed, sowing schedule and the timing of when you need to sow it back from your frost state.
Yeah, make sure to know that that starts first. The cold stratification starts first, and then after that happens, then work through on your germination schedule.
Yeah.
And the last thing to take away from this is make sure to keep up on keeping the soil around those seeds moist. Stay up on your watering. Check them if, every other day or every week. Whatever you end up doing, just make sure to stay on top of that.
Yeah, definitely. We're excited to update you on these seeds as we go along, and we'll be checking them every 2 days to start with, maybe even daily, just to make sure that they're not dry.
Make sure to leave any comments or questions down below for us. We love hearing from you. And make sure also to subscribe to our channel so you get updates on our latest videos. So with that, have a great day, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.